I want to show you how to create a new account in our Remark testing software. In order to access this program, if it's not on your desktop, we go to the Start menu and start typing in Remark, and notice it is the first one at the top. We'll click on this, and this box should pop up. Okay, if you already created a name, it will be in this list. If not, you'll click on New, and you will type in your last name. Now remember, if there is more than one teacher in the school with your name, make sure that you include your first name as well, or at least your first initial. Once you have that done, we'll click Next. And this will take us on to student ID numbers. Now, there's a couple options for student ID numbers. You can click No, and they'll assign them for you. What I'm going to do, and you'll see in a minute because I have a file over here that is my roster, I'm going to click Yes, because that will allow me to import them from Infinite Campus. Now, if we're getting good at doing that, I can export all of that information right from Infinite Campus, and it can go fit right in with this software. If not, we can click No, and I can type in all of the student names by hand, and it's really just a matter of your personal preference. I've set it up already with this file off on the side. It has my student ID numbers in there, so therefore I'm going to go ahead and click Yes, and it will bring those in when I import those into my student list. Click Next. Now, this is where I create my student class. I don't have one, so I'm going to create a test class for my socials. And this is where now I can import. This is the file I had. I'm going to import it, but I don't want to click the actual import. Right to the right of it, there's a drop-down arrow, and I want to go to Advanced Import. This way I can go and choose it. If you click on here, you'll notice that it is an XLS file, and it needs to be from 97 to 2003. That's how you're going to export it to make sure that it plays well with this software program. That's the type of file we're going to need to import. So I'll click OK. And now what I need to do is match the information. So if you see on the left-hand side, these are my fields. On the right-hand side, this is Remark, and I just want to make sure that they match. So last name, first name, first name. Student ID, notice it's not really matched with anything, so I want to find something in theirs that matches, and there's ID, perfect. And I would click Next, and notice I've got my class list that I created, last names, first names, and my student ID numbers, and I'm just going to import that right into my classroom, and now I have a class list. All of that information has been generated. I'll click Create, and that will create the class for me. Now, I have an option. I can create another class, or I can go ahead and make this my last class, and since I only have one, I'm going to leave it at that. But you could always click Yes, and you can put in all of your classes however you want. Click Next. Now, the second to last step is going to be your answer sheet. If there are a few things, if you do a lot of bubble sheets that are A to D or A to E, you can set your preferences right here, and these will come to the top when you create your tests. So I like to check the first couple just to make sure they're A to D, and then I'll go down and I'll do A to E as well, and click Next. I just set those as my preference, so they'll be the default when I create my next test. So now I can click on Next, and that will take me to the hot folder. The hot folder is where we're going to keep this information. I'm going to show you a trick around this in a minute in a later video. So you can click Yes, you can click No. I'm not going to set this up because I can't exactly tell you where to go to get that information, but No is going to work for us. And I click Finish or click Next, and then I'm ready to move on, and I will click Finish. Now when I go back to this same box at the beginning, notice my name will pop up in this list. It is generated in this field, and I can click my name and click go, and there is my class. Now that I have my students imported and I have created a class, you'll notice their names here. Up at the top, you'll see that I can print these exams now. So I would print a test with each one of their names, and if you notice, there's also one for my answer key. I unchecked that. If I wanted to, I could print off the answer key. I could fill in the bubbles by myself, and then I would have to send that through with the exams, but I don't have to. I can go up here and click on the modify answer key, and actually I can click on the bubbles that are the correct answers, and that will stay with this exam, and so I wouldn't have to hand fill them out by myself. I would be able to do it that way, and I'll stay with this test. So notice that this is my class list. If I go down here to the bottom and I click print, it will print blank answer sheets, and they would look like this. You'll notice that they have on each one of them a student name, the test name, the class, as well as my name. And on the right hand side, you'll notice that there's a QR code, and this is how the program reads these tests. So if I scroll down here, you'll notice that each one of my students gets one of these. If I print them off, they would be blank for each student. I could pass them out. Students could sit down, take the exam, hand them back to me, and that's when I would feed them into the MFP.